Welcome to the Broski Dills podcast, the best podcast in all of the land. Is your boy Kiko Flo, Kiko Cervantes, the kid with the accent. It's Chef Maurice. You're the guy with the accent, maybe stronger, maybe lighter, who knows? You be the decider. Leave it in the comments. Thank you for joining us this week, as always. Chef Maurice directly from Hialeah, Miami, the heart of the Cuban coffee and the Venezuelan people. What the fuck, bro? I'm coming through you from Madrid, and every time I make you laugh, it hurts your ear. You've just been operated on the ear yesterday. People are saying, okay, and how are you making a podcast now? It's called commitment, okay? For the kids out there that aren't really familiar with commitment, with, being disciplined to a cause. Well, Chef Maurice is here. He can't even hear right now. He can't hear. Actually, we don't know if he'll be able to hear.
Are you there?
But he's here anyways. That was a little hard for me with an accent. He can't hear, but he's here. That one's a little good for practice, okay?
Do you have words that you can't say in English, no matter how well you speak it?
There's one that always fucks with me, especially if I'm trying to say it on purpose. Like, if it just comes up on a sentence, I'm good. But if I'm purposely trying to say it, iron is hard.
Iron. There are a couple of words that I can't. Every time I say it, it feels weird. I can't think of one right now, but...
Okay.
Like Amazon. I don't know how to say it. It doesn't sound... That has a weird...
Right. Okay, we
and
all
then
have
there's
that.
people who would say, like, cinnamon.
But that's more, I think, of a retardation.
Like the small yellow...
Like, it's not an accent. That's not an accent. That's like a medical condition. I mean, no offense.
No pun intended.
No pun there, but yeah, I wouldn't intend it either. Look, check me out. So, I wanted to ask you about things that you see happen across the day, right? So you might be driving, you might be, in the public transportation, and you see somebody do something, and you're like, damn, that action gets that person into heaven. You know what I mean? Because we always look at the bad. We're always conditioned as humans to look at the bad things in the world, because that's what protects us from being deleted. But sometimes you gotta look at the good. And sometimes you do something yourself where you're like, God damn it, this that I just did, this might be my ticket to, Mac Heaven.
Mac Heaven.
Yeah, maybe it's ran by corporations too. Who knows? So what are things that you have noticed in the world that you've done, somebody else has done, and that you're like, damn, that's gonna get them to heaven?
Just now, since we talked about this, I've been thinking, does it have to be big acts of kindness, or it could be like little random things?
I actually believe that the more little things are the ones that actually do the more.
So you think like donating money, which is like a bigger act of kindness, is not going to open the door as much as like a bunch of small ones?
For some reason, I think donating money to like a charity, to me, feels more like something that'll get you into hell.
How so?
Because a lot of times, I think like there's a study that shows that 90% of charities keep more than 90% of the money that's donated in like bureaucratic cost, aka, executives keep a bunch of the money. So, yeah. So I actually believe more, for this scenario at least, that the acts of kindness or of goodness that happen on a low scale, day-to-day sort of scenario, are the ones that I think impact more. And that's where God is looking like, hey, look, you weren't trying to do something big. You just did something that came out, of the, right off the dome. So I appreciate that. Let me just mark here next to your name, approve, you're going to heaven.
You get a couple merit points.
And also keep in mind, this not just this action got you there. Many actions across your life were filling it up. And this was just the icing on the cake that made you go over the threshold. Okay, boom.
We should have like when you go to a Subway, that when you go pay, she gives you a card where you punch holes, and it gives you like 5, gets you a new sub, like a free sub of your choice. We should have that in life. Punch it out and see if we go to heaven.
Right, exactly. In this case, it's kind of like a punch card, and you could say that this last action that you saw was that last hole.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
So, what are some of these actions that you've noticed in your recent life?
I think anything that has to do with being kind to older people,
Mm-hmm.
that's a couple punch holes there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like definitely giving them the spot in the bus. I don't ride the bus
Okay.
here, but when I used to live in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
those little acts of, give the older person the chair. I think,
Right.
kindness in the smallest way possible, still
Okay.
kind. Opening the door, helping them, with something at the store. I've done that. So I think I punch a couple holes there.
Okay.
What else? Being kind to kids, not in a weird way, but just like
Right.
not being a fucking dick.
Okay.
I think the best charity work that you can do is like towards children, like community children. I've never done it, but it's something I always wanted to do in the sense of like I would love to cook for kids. I would love to, feed the kids at school and
Is
stuff
this
like that.
because they
Not,
have like a lower standard for food and they won't notice if you fuck up on the dish?
nah, no. I mean, it doesn't have to be fucking Michelin star food. For,
Right. Right. Okay.
I
You'll
think
just give
mac and
them,
cheese will do.
right,
Mac
mac
and
and
cheese will
cheese and,
do.
and hot dog. Okay, so you feel like those, like for example, when you see, oh, Thanksgiving, and like an actor or some, an artist goes to like a public kitchen and he's helping give meals to people in Thanksgiving. Is that, kind of like those acts?
It opens the punch holes. When you see someone like Matthew Perry from
Mm-hmm.
Friends, he went to do those in Thanksgiving, but every time he did a line of Cocorino Romano, the punch
Okay.
holes would go back into the card and he'll seal
Oh,
it. So he would have to
right.
punch them again to it.
Right, because something
He
that
ended up
people don't
losing that
understand
battle, but
is you can get punch holes and get closer to heaven, but then the next day you can do a few actions that bring you back a little bit.
exactly.
So you take
Exactly.
the good with the bad, and hey, there's been times where I'm like, I know I'm gonna lose a few punch holes in this weekend. Okay,
But I'll make for it next week when I
right?
do
Yeah,
this and that.
next week I'm gonna save an old
Oh, I
man.
start on Monday, 7 a.m.
Yeah, at
I'm
7
starting to help
a.m.
the old.
I'm starting to help the old, but this weekend I got what they call an eighth, which is 3.5 grams of the scaly white Cocorino Romano directly from fucking Florence, Italy. I don't know. That's not, in
Damn.
Parma. In Parma, that's where they do it. Sorry. For the Italians that listen. No, they like me to get the facts straight. Anyways, so yeah, you can get the punch up, but you can get them down too. Like let's say, you gave your girlfriend a new
You
truck.
win some and you lose some.
You give your girlfriend a new truck, and you know what? Her mom lives with you, right? Fortunately. And then you're like, let me give a truck to her too, right? That's a few punches up. Then the next week you go to the strip club and you make some unwise decisions. A few
Right.
strikes down. So it's all
Right.
balanced, the yin, the yang. I think that's what Bruce Lee said.
So I guess when you ended up going to heaven, that means you ended up punching more good holes than closing
Exactly.
them.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's like calories in, calories out. You want to be on a punch hole deficit, but actually you want to be on a punch hole surplus. It's the opposite.
Right.
So you want to sometimes punch down, but you want to punch up more than you punch down. Okay?
You have to live life, so you got to punch down for sure.
Like, it's something like Cocorino Romano times 2 equals old guy saved per week across 1 year. I think the formula is somewhere around there. I'm not a physicist,
Maybe in your 20s, you're in a deficit of punches, right?
Right.
In your early 20s and your late teens, you're in a deficit of punches, right?
All right.
And then once you start going older, you're starting to
Right.
punch holes. So you're
Right,
going to be in a surplus.
because you start once you start reaching 40, you start becoming a little bitch, and you're like, God damn, this life is, it's frail. Anything can happen at any moment. I'm not even like, if you look back, I'm like, I definitely don't have enough punch holes to get to heaven. Like, I haven't done the math, but I'm pretty sure it ain't there.
How many do you think you need?
I think right now I'm on a fucking huge deficit. I would need to start going to church like twice a week for a minute just for my system to start recuperating into like the punch. Like my system is not even punching up anymore. Doesn't even know how to.
I think any more tattoos that we get, the holes are going to start sealing up again.
Right, like I need to get like a Christ across my chest. Like fucking Jesus de Nazareth.
Right.
Like this,
Shit.
with a cross. I mean, something like that can get you, places. For example, I was thinking, because you said like, people that open the door and this. What about this one? I live in Madrid, right, Spain, the land of the Crusades, and I like to think, look, a lot of people from the U.S., from different countries, they come to Madrid because Madrid has become a hotspot, right? And like a classic person that now lives in the city and now feels like they're part of the city, stop coming to our city, okay? So it's always full with people. People come, and it's normal. Sometimes they want to hang out.
I
Right?
come.
Yeah, you come many times, and you think I'm good. Like I like people that come over and I want to see you. But as we get older, you need more time in advance to sort of prep for that, right? We're not like in our 20s where you could just be like, "Hey, bro, what's good? I just arrived on Madrid. What's goody?" Right? What's the Cocorino Romano, exposition that you talked to me about? Right? And it's like I appreciate people that tell you in advance, "Hey, bro, in 2 months' time, in 1 month's time, I'm gonna be there these dates." And then now I can plan for that economically, emotionally, physically, right?
I think that's the way to go. That's what I did when I went to visit you, right? I
And
told
those
you
people
in
and those people go
advance.
to heaven.
And I was going to say, you punch a bunch of holes on your way to heaven because you did an act of kindness and letting me and my family stay with you.
That's right. I didn't even know I had a couple punch there, that are helping me. That's
So
always
I mean,
good.
it doesn't have to be for the poor, like homeless.
Right,
It
right.
could be for the poor of your
Right, right. I
friends.
mean, you're technically homeless too, so at the end, I am helping a brother out.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. So yeah, it's the little things in life. You know what Chef Maurice does, and this is not to lick on his dick or anything, but you know what Chef Maurice does that I think is punching a lot of holes upwards towards him getting into heaven, because you need to have enough holes punched in your little card. And Chef Maurice, I don't know where he's at in that count, but there's a lot of holes that he's punched because he cooks for other people. And I think this is even in the Bible. When you cook for other people and you provide them with this carnival pleasure that we have, it's not only a pleasure, but it's tied to our fucking survival, right? To your caveman genes. I say you are providing people with something incredible, and that gets you to heaven little by little, my man.
Thank you. Thank you for that. But I want to ask you, where do you think someone like Anthony Bourdain is? Did he
Fuck.
punch his way up? Remember,
Yeah.
he sealed a bunch of holes in his way. So,
Well, this is the thing with Anthony Bourdain, right? We love him in this podcast. We're reading his book now. Um, the thing is, his exit strategy takes off a lot of
a
holes.
lot of points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least from what I understand from the Heaven Institute of who the fuck we let in. They're like, hey, that type of the exit, that type
Right.
of delivery, I would say takes off a lot of points. And he, based on the book that we're reading, he confesses himself to have had fucked up a lot of holes in his youth. So, but I think that he's reached so many people in such an amazing, positive way, in so many levels, not only culinary but philosophically, that I believe he's had more punches, above than below. So he's definitely, in heaven, whatever that looks like.
Someone like dictators.
Rest in power.
Someone like dictators, like Saddam Hussein.
Mm,
Did he even punch any holes?
right. Right? No, I don't believe. I don't even think that he knew of the system. You know, what I mean,
Right.
he
He
wasn't
wasn't
even.
aware of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like for example, Hitler, he would grab the punch little machine, and he would put it on fucking little puppies and take their eyes out. That's what he did. So it's a little different.
Probably burn them too. The
So
machine.
so yeah, so people that tell you in advance, I'm going to your town, let's chill, let's do something. I believe that those are the reals. The people that tell you like the day that they're there, they're either annoying or they didn't even want to see you in the first place, and you're kind of like their third option.
Ooh.
And it
Okay.
happens. And those people don't go to
Okay.
heaven. You know where they
No,
go.
definitely,
They
definitely
go
not.
they go where Hugo Chavez is.
Ooh.
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 Ah. E. Heavy.
I like to let people in advance know. I think
Yeah.
it's a big commitment too. You know, you're probably going to spend some time, some money. Um, so you need to let people know.
Yeah.
What about people with pets? Are those allowed to punch holes?
Well, I mean, a person with pet. The thing is, the pet thing has a funny bell curve where if you love your pet, you're you're increasingly the more you love them, the more you are like a good person, and you punch a lot of holes towards going into heaven. But there comes a point where if it comes too extreme, now you start believing that animals matter more than humans. And this is not to say that animals aren't worth anything, but now when you prefer to hang out with your dog than your sick father, right? Stephanie with blue hair, then we have a problem, and that's when you can start losing some of the holes, and you go back down to, closer to hell.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I think I'm on board on that
Huh.
situation with the dogs. Well, I think pets in general, right? I wouldn't count like a giraffe as a pet.
Right.
Yeah.
No, giraffe is more like a sexual partner. If yeah.
If you do acts of those
Hmm.
with a pet, you're definitely not punching any holes.
I mean, I don't know because at the end of the day, I'm not like we don't know what the pet thinks, so we ultimately don't really have a way of knowing. I mean, aside from like your typical cues, that you check to see if they're enjoying it. But aside from that, it is quite difficult to sort of get to the nitty gritty.
Where do you think Uncle Martinez is?
Well, I mean, Uncle Martinez is obviously going to hell, right? And Uncle
Okay.
Martinez, keeps it dirty. But he's a guy that has, Uncle Martinez is the type of person that early in life they've realized that there was no way that they were gonna punch up more than they punched down, and that gives you kind of
Right.
freedom
Right.
because now you don't even have to try to be good. You can just be a dirtbag all your life. If you have a friend, I don't know, his name is Dirtbag Steve. He probably realized early he was gonna be a dirtbag for the rest of his life, so he never really cared into putting punches up. So why am I gonna see my son play baseball, right? When there's no way I can punch enough to go to heaven, and he's gonna lose, and he's fucking dumb.
I think that's a good way of seeing it.
Yep. So
I
that's
didn't even think
exactly.
about that. When you get to that point of you're not gonna punch any holes, you just might as well just seal them all.
Yeah, seal them all, and yeah, just do the dirty thing, right? Now, Cocorino Romano, you might want to call the distribution chain and talk directly to the distributors.
Now, depending on what you do, you're just sealing those holes faster. That's gonna take you to hell faster, right?
Yeah, that is true. You do get closer, but you maybe leave the world at 50, through a heart attack after taking Viagra and going to a whorehouse, for example. I mean, this is not a true story, but it's happened. And that's the
It
way
has
they want to
happened.
go.
Do you think, or people who go to church go to heaven?
I think it's unrelated. I think going to church does not really give you that. If you go to church, what you're doing is you're going to a place that has the Wi-Fi available for you to connect to Jesus, the Nazareth, right? But being in that Wi-Fi doesn't mean that you're making a connection.
Hmm.
right? Is that a good metaphor? I think I can use this. Maybe I can become a youth pastor and use these analogies for the kids. Gen Z needs them.
Right.
So, so I believe going to church, all you're doing is you're getting closer to that where that connection is, but you do have to make that connection yourself. You need to put that effort within you to speak to Jesus the Nazareth and actually create a bond between you two that will allow you to improve, through life and actually be able to punch more holes eventually. So yeah, going to church every Sunday can help. Are there people that go to church every Sunday thinking they're punching in, but really they're not because they're pieces of shit at home and they're going to heaven? They're going to hell, but they don't know it. Yes, that happens. Happens every day. It's sad.
Yeah, it's not a good look when you go to church on Sunday and then on Monday you're hanging out with the secretary of the office.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
you have four kids at home and a wife who hates her life.
Now, don't get me wrong. You might want to do very well for a few years so that you can save a couple of holes to seal back in and have a little adventure with the secretary. Like I mean, just have your count correct. You know what I mean?
Now that we're talking about this, wasn't there a movie of something like this, but instead of like punching a hole was like time, and then you
Oh
could add
yeah,
time or
it's
decrease
with
time?
with Justin Timberlake.
Was it?
Well, the one I'm
Hmm.
thinking, yeah, and I think it was called like In Time or some shit. It was really good actually. Where currency is the time you have left in the world, and the people that were billionaires had like thousands of
Right.
years. Yeah, it's really
Right.
good.
I just looked it up. Yeah, I
Is it
remember the
called? Is
movie
it called
now.
On Time?
In Time, yeah.
In Time. God damn it!
Damn, you're good, bro. You're
Fuck.
fucking good.
God damn it! I need to punch
You're
some holes so I can go
you're a
down.
great you're a great cinephile.
I'm a cinephile, which is not to get confused with the other, okay? Because I've had them confuse it before, and it's not pretty. It's not a pretty line of questioning from the police. All right, so check me out. What's another
No,
thing
no,
that
no,
you?
no. I'm a
What?
cinephile.
I'm a cinephile.
Officer.
You guys got it.
Officer.
What? I am addicted to movies, but not those. It's a different one. It's a different type.
Officer.
Have you seen Alien One from '86? That's my ordeal. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sigourney Weaver's Bush. I'm into that, but she was overage.
Cinephile.
Cinephile. Look, so what is another one of these things that you've seen in the wild where you're like, God damn, that thing is gonna get them to heaven. I tell you right now, that gonna get you to heaven.
Speaking like that is not going to get you to heaven.
No, I think if you speak Southern, you go to heaven, like straight to heaven.
Maybe we're punching a bunch of holes right now because we're basically confessing our sins, right? So once we confess sins,
Like
you're
we get brownie points up
up according to the
that
Christians.
to the system, yeah, that we created right now. Right,
Confessing our sins.
right.
You know,
To the
going to the
air.
police, going to the police and confessing stuff,
Okay.
punching
Damn.
holes.
It's pushing gold. I mean, there was this really good show back in the day. It was called My Name Is Earl.
Mm.
It was
Oh
really
yeah,
good
I
with
remember
Ethan Suplee was there, the guy that was really
the
big
big
and then
guy.
he lost a lot of weight. I can't remember the main guy. And then this was this cute girl that worked there. And pretty much what it was is that he had destroyed so many lives in the past that he needed to go around making good deeds to punch enough holes to kind of, you know, cover up, compensate. So that's the deal. That's what's
His,
happening.
the name of the guy is Jason Lee, the main
Jason
guy.
Lee, very funny guy. I don't know why I haven't
Yeah.
seen him in a movie recently.
Um. Yeah, he goes like the wrong way, and then he tries to make up for it.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that
weird.
was a good show. That was a
He
good
was
show.
he was in a lot of the movies of Kevin Smith, like Dogma and I think even Mallrats. Pretty funny guy. Anyway, another one of these things that you've seen in the wild that you go, man, that thing's gonna get you to heaven.
Ah, I don't know. You tell me one.
God damn.
I'm
God damn. Just for people that, that are at home listening, this is not that we're not prepared. We're super prepared, but Chef Maurice just had a surgery and he's still
He
recuperating.
forgets. He
Yeah,
forgets
so it's
things.
totally normal. Doctor said that if in a few the next few podcasts, if he ever sounds like he's like a kid that just learned English and is not really able to grasp an idea, that he's just collecting his thoughts because after the surgery it takes a few days to get used to the fact that he's gonna be a little slower from now on. So, all right. So,
The small yellow bus. That made my day better.
okay, so one that I like is you're gonna take a piss, right? And you go into a place that has, 4 or 5 urinaries, and you're pissing, and somebody comes and they choose to go to the last one from you, like as far from you. That guy is punching a few holes that day to go to heaven, for
Now you
example.
gotta see how many punches. What kind merits more punches or less punches. I think the being far from you, that's at least 2 punches.
Yeah, it's at least 2 punches. I mean, it's not gonna make a great difference if you're like a piece of shit father. But if you've always been decent, this might be, the little edge you needed to, to get you out of purgatory. So I'm just saying, little tips here and there. People say, oh, you want to do it all with a strong event, a strong act. No, sometimes you win the battles with little bit of actions, like little today, little tomorrow. Hey,
You can't do it all
sorry.
in one day.
Yeah, you can do it all in one day. One day you might get a big event where a lady's falling and you catch her before she breaks her head. Okay, you get 100 holes a day, 100 points. Cling, 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 cling. But then the next days, you might not feel it, You might see somebody in danger, but you're like, hey, I don't feel it today. Boom, the boss hits them.
Uh,
And anyways, yeah.
I'm discharging some liquid
All from the
from
ear.
from the ear. I felt some wetness trickle down my neck. I won't make it any more graphic.
No, that's cool for people that are wondering. Well, Chef Maurice had his ear drum and his ear canal reconstructed. Kind of
Damn.
like it's very similar to the operation Caitlyn Jenner went through, but just in the ear.
Right,
And
right.
and
I feel like
we're
some part of me was taken away.
yeah, it was. And I think that people are gonna ask, they're gonna be wondering why you did this. And the reason is Chef Maurice never really felt confident about the way that his ears looked. So Chef Maurice has gotten an operation that make his ears look like the ones from like a night elf. Like an elf from like Lord of the Rings type shit. Those little like fairy ears.
Yeah, the pointy ones.
Yeah. But the thing is, the way that they do it, because it's such a very sort of new, very in the cusp of the technology operation, they only do one ear first to make sure it comes out right. Then they do the other one. So,
This is just to make me look better.
yeah. Chef Maurice
No,
already looks
but
very cute, but this is gonna help
thank
him
you.
in the kitchens because people respect more when they see a chef that's also an elf.
With a chef hat and just like elf ears.
Yeah, elf ears. Who the fuck's gonna say no to that chef?
Uh, you see, making that joke punches doesn't punch any holes.
Do you think making your friends laugh when you go out for beers does that punch a few holes in your card?
Not as many as you would think.
Oh, okay.
Buying the beers or buying the rounds
A little more.
punches other holes.
Oh, right.
Maybe let's give it 2 holes too.
Right.
Two
Yeah, I think.
holes. You buy the rounds, you're good. You're going to heaven.
What about you have a friend that calls you and he's telling you about his problems? Oh, I'm getting a divorce. I'm very sad. I'm depressed. And you're like, God damn, bro, this guy is fucking gay. But you end up you say that to yourself, but you're like, oh, okay, Christian, no, tell me about it, bro. No, I get it, man. Yeah, no, let's talk about it. Yeah, I have an hour available to speak today. That's a few holes up.
Do you think we're punching holes now by doing this?
Like punching hole to to each other
towards
because
heaven.
towards heaven. Do you think like this program being out there and people listening to it, does that create a positive effect on them in such a way that we are indirectly punching up when we're doing this? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little bit now I'm starting to think about it. Is this podcast a net punch down generator? Are we farther from heaven each episode that comes out, or am I mistaken there?
Wow. I
Because
hadn't thought about it.
yeah, because then we're kind of like Uncle Martinez, like we're already destined to, highway to hell.
So we might as well just take advantage of stealing some punches.
Right. And
Say
just,
whatever we need to say right now.
right, take the fast ramp down, so to speak.
I think you did like today. I think you did a couple punches in your time card in your Subway $5 foot long card.
Right. Because I mean, let's say for heaven you need what, like 100 punches?
Let's say I think it's going to be a little bit more, but
A
yeah,
little bit more, but yeah, just to round it up. Yeah, you get to heaven, St. Peter is like, hey, what's good? Let me see that card. And you should have 100 punches.
he's St. Pete for the homies.
St. Pete for the homies, yeah. Or SP for the, even more. For the OGs.
For the OGs, for the real one.
All right, so yeah, so you get 100, but every time you fuck up, right, like we mentioned, you get that sealed. So little things like, helping, your family members, loaning them a couple bucks, that's like half a punch or maybe a whole punch, right?
Are you accumulating this? Like, does this start once you come out of your mom?
What do you
Like,
mean?
does the punching the holes? Does it start once you come out of the
Yeah,
of
of
me
course.
mom?
Right, when you're in the belly, you have no
If
say
you,
in it.
I guess if you give your mom, the vomits, the nausea,
No,
you're
that's not. No, you're just a little soul that hasn't been created yet. So I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say that. No.
Do you think my kid is in deficit right now?
How so? Because he hasn't, like, you say that he hasn't
Because
provided value type thing,
or that he's in an age where he's starting to be a little asshole.
okay, I get you. Yeah, that was a little bit more personal. I mean, definitely kids until they're of a certain age, they're just sealing holes.
Right, they're in deficit for
Yeah.
sure.
So if you get a kid that's a good kid after they're of age, they're able to sort of compensate a lot of those holes because they're still young. But when you get a kid, because this happens with every kid, right? Until they're like 5, they're like little, Tasmanian devils, right? If after that they continue to be little shits, it's gonna be harder when they're in their 30s to compensate all those sealed holes, right? So it's a little harder.
So, and when we used to live in San Francisco, we used to go to a park, and there used to be this kid with the nanny there all the time, so we got to know them. And one day, I just saw this kid punch the nanny in the vagina
Okay.
a couple times, and then in the butt as well. So that kid, he was maybe 3, 4, 5, when we were there, and we saw that that motherfucker was losing punches by the second.
I mean, it is true that the Asian culture is a little bit different, but I do
I
believe
didn't
that.
say where it was from.
No, I know, but we know. But I mean, to your credit, I think just living in San Francisco gives you a couple of punches towards heaven.
Why? Because you're part of the community?
Yeah, you're part of the community. You support the the stuff. I mean, or actually, I don't know. Maybe God doesn't like that. Actually, so I don't know.
Whoa,
I don't know what's the current stance of the church with the with the gay friends. I don't know what's the.
Well, what about the legal lettuce that is sold in California? Am I punching holes because it's legal, or am I taking points away because I'm doing
You're
the
making
devil's
holes
lettuce?
in your lung, but I mean, Okay, so consuming the devil's lettuce, but in a state where it's legal, is that? I think that's a neutral. I think that doesn't punch you up, but it doesn't punch you down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So that's a good way of doing something and not
yeah, yeah.
being
If you can do
penalized
things,
for.
yeah, you can do things that are neutral. I kind of believe drinking beers, even though it's amazing. I think you are losing holes.
Even more so than the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, devil's lettuce is neutral because I feel like it's a little bit more natural. We could even argue that Adam and Eve kind of put it there. You know.
Um, I don't know because if you're drinking the beer, the brewskis with the homies, I mean, it's still legal, right?
Yeah, but it's not just about legality, right? Legality is one thing. Even before the devil's lettuce became legal, I would have still said the same thing because it's not about legality, it's about morality, right? I feel that the devil's lettuce, although, it has that name and that connotation, it's actually something that comes from the earth and most likely was provided by the Almighty, Jesus de Nazareth. But when we talk about alcohol, I do feel it's a little bit evilish. It's a little eerie.
It's funny
Eerie.
that the Nazareth planted this shit, and we don't know what he did after he was born until he was 33. So
Right.
his teenage years and his 20s, he was doing the devil's lettuce himself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's to be modest, right? Because, I mean, we're talking about Cocorino Romano. It existed in those days. But that is true. We're talking about a lot of years, the lost years of Jesus de Nazareth.
Because
And we
nobody talks
know,
about that.
yeah, and we know what was happening there. He was in Constantinople doing the damn thing. That's where they had the good material. And that's where he would
Do
go do
you,
the damn thing.
do you think, I personally don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
know.
remember reading this in the Bible, but do you
I
think
remember.
Jesus in his college years was taking full advantage of the college years? Like he was
Yeah.
going out with the ladies and uh, multiplying the fish,
I
if
mean,
you
this is not
will.
exactly how it happens, but imagine Jesus going to, University of Central Florida in Orlando, right? I mean, back in like 2008, 2009, where the STD ratio was high. I mean, I'm talking about your career should have taken you 3 years. It took you 6. When you came out of that college, you already had a little bit of white hair.
Mm.
So that's what's happened, right? That's the Nazareth.
Do you think that Nazareth did enough to punch holes to go to heaven?
Yeah, but you gotta also keep in mind that Nazareth has that Papa Bear privilege.
Right. He has.
Yeah,
He
so
has the Almighty.
nepotism, the old nepotism. So
It always comes back to that.
if he's missing a few holes, you best believe Daddy's gonna come through and hey, let me speak to the manager. You know what I mean? Let me speak to the manager. Who's the manager? I'm the manager, doggy. What do you mean? I own this shit. So, anyways, I think that's what's up. But for example, people that walk on their side of the sidewalk and don't block the whole sidewalk. There's people that are walking in a group of 3 and 4, and they feel like they're in the red carpet, in the red carpet. Like, motherfucker, move to the side. I got to pass. Okay? I got a mission. So people that move and that are conscious of other people's space, they get a few punches up, to go to heaven. And that's fair.
Or picking up the dog shit from the sidewalk. Are you punching some holes there?
Sorry, which one was that one again?
Yeah, picking up the dog shit, your dog shit
Yeah.
from the sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean that's only one point up, but a point is a point. Picking up your dog shit, that definitely takes you a little bit further. Cleaning the machines at the gym after you use them, that gets you a little bit closer. Little things like that. You have a kid that's crying and won't stop crying, and then after a few minutes, you're like, okay, let me take him out of the establishment. That gets you closer to heaven, and that gives the kid also a few points to himself.
Mm.
I heard this Chinese lady say this. She said in Asia, you don't want your kid to bother other people, right? And that's why you see whenever like a kid with Asian parents, they either behave, or if they don't behave, the parents take them away. And the reason for this is because they believe in karma, and they believe that if my kid annoys a lot of people, that's all bad karma that he has collected. So it's kind of what we're talking about, right? He has a bunch of holes that he needs to compensate before the motherfuckers won. So, that's one that I believe is, it's good.
That's why they're very respectful.
The
Sometimes
Asians. Oh,
the
the
Asians,
Asians. I believe they're very decent people.
they have very now. Do Asians go to heaven faster because they have a system in place of being kind and being good to people?
Actually, I'm not even sure if the Asians go to heaven because they believe like in another system.
Right, right, right.
They're like Buddhists and stuff.
But maybe
But
from our point of view,
yeah, from our point of view, I wouldn't mind. If anything, heaven could probably use a little bit of diversity on the Asian side.
they automatically come with extra punches. You know, once they are
Bec-
born, since they're Asian, they just get extra holes.
I didn't know that. Why? Because they're just better people type shit.
I guess
Okay.
because they're more respectful in
Yeah, that's
certain
true.
sense.
Oh, I get you. I get you. Like they're born already with points because their parents have provided them with good karma.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
How was your weekend?
Well, bro, I was not much. I started watching a few documentaries. I watched a movie that is very disturbing that I strongly recommend. Do not see it near your kid. It's called Bring Her Back. And we like to, give a little recommendation towards the end of the show. Bring Her Back is an A24 movie. If you can get the poster, we can put it up. I don't know where it's available to stream in the US, but just search it. It's probably available to rent on some site. Bring Her Back. Yeah, it's horror. It has to do with, like demons and spirits and shit. The story is really good, so it's not just scary to be scary. But man, there's some scenes that are excruciating, heavy, and I think people are gonna fucking have a good time. It's a ride. It's uncomfortable at times, but at the end of it, you end up with like a feeling of damn, this is some fire shit.
Is this one it?
And yeah, yeah, it's pretty heavy, bro. So yeah, I watched that movie. I'm watching a series on HBO. It's kind of like Game of Thrones type thing, but it's a real story between England and Normandy back in like the 1000s, the 1000s. So I'm watching that. It's with the guy from Game of Thrones, Jamie, the brother, and it's called King and Conqueror in HBO. It's pretty good. It's 2 episodes in. I recommend it. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, but with actual facts and things that really happen. So it's a historical movie, but it's sort of built in this whole Game of Thrones feeling. So I like that.
I think I think here in the States they show it on Prime.
Okay.
Maybe for the people who want to watch it in the United States.
Right.
Um, I haven't I haven't really seen anything. I want to. There's a new documentary on Netflix. I wanted to talk to you about, like to watch it so we can talk about it.
Okay.
It's I think it's something about catfish.
Is it the one with where like supposedly the mom is the one sending the messages to the girl?
I think it's that, like the high school one.
Yeah, yeah. I think I saved it. Yeah, we could watch that one if you can get the name and put the poster. Yeah, I heard about it. Apparently, it's like pretty messed up. So we could definitely
Unknown
watch that
number,
one.
the high school catfish.
Okay.
That's on my watch list, but I don't know. I've been in a weird thing that I want to be like calm, and for some reason, I found on this is gonna be very stupid, but I found on YouTube. Do you remember that game and the computer when we went to like middle school? that the one that you can build houses and like a city.
Yeah,
It's called like City,
Sim City,
something like
no.
that. This one's called like City Sky,
Oh,
whatever.
Skyline.
Skylines, some shit like that.
Okay.
And I find that very calming. And then this week, I started watching like people building their own cities, and for some reason, I find it like very chill and calm, and I watch
Fuck.
hours of it.
That's pretty gangster in a
You
very
think so?
gay way. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be the complete opposite. It's
Yeah.
just this guy who builds cities, and there's something of it that makes it very comfortable. I don't know what it is.
Now, would you think that you could get a similar type of soothing effect if you were the one building the cities, or that wouldn't work?
I don't think so because I know for sure what I would do would never look like what he does. Apparently, this person that I'm watching is like a city planner, like a real city planner.
Oh, okay.
So he knows the intricate part of it. And even though it is a game, he has modifiers that makes it even, look even better.
I feel you.
But he has like oh, in the real life we can't do this because the budget would go, and then he gives you like a backstory on it, on why in the real life what you're doing in the game wouldn't work. But he bases a lot of the building in what real life happens, and how the density in houses start from like, or in cities start from like being low until, and certain part of the cities are going to be more high density, more downtownish, and then how you need. It's very interesting, and
No,
I've been watching
it's
this
super fire.
I've been watching this. He has a series of like 50 episodes on one of the builds that he has. So each episode he betters what he has done before. And every time I watch it, like episode 10, I'm like, this is the best I have ever seen. And now I'm in episode 45, and it's like the best shit I've ever seen.
I love YouTube for that. You can find niche things that are so cool. Like, I started watching also some guy play some video games because he would teach you how to beat the game in a better way. I actually game. I'm a gamer myself. And I feel that... I mean, I actually have a group of friends. We have a group, and it's called the Gamers.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that you can watch these type of things. I myself never seem to... you dripping blood?
The one of the glasses kind of fell down.
Okay. Damn.
It's okay. I need to take a shower anyways.
You need to fucking get an ear. No, what I was saying is that those city planning games, I tried them. I even think I bought one. I'm gonna see if I can download it again and try it, but they never hooked me. But maybe I wasn't doing it right,
Well, maybe I'll send you the link for this guy and just watch like one episode and you'll get hooked. I really want to play it, but I don't want to fuck up my work.
I think that's available maybe on Nintendo Switch. So
right. So I used to have it on the PS4, but now that I switched to a PS5, I have to like have certain things that I could use it again. I still have it. It's just locked. I need to unlock it by, I think it's buying the online thing.
Okay. All right. Well, let us know how that goes. Thank you for tuning in like every week. Chef Maurice is back. He has a new ear. He has a new mind, a new brain, and he's coming out, firing ready with better ideas. So we hope that you continue to recover greatly from your operation. And we'll see you next week with hotter topics and other things that can get you into heaven. If we miss, we probably miss a lot. If there's things that you yourself feel like, man, this definitely gets you into heaven, put it in the comments. If there's things that you like, bro, I can only think of things that take you to hell. Hey, put in there too.
Maybe in the comments, just put the emoji of praying hands.
Right.
Just for the sake of engagement.
Or the little devil for hell. Oh.
Right. Yeah. Where do you think you're going? Leave the emoji below.
Right. But also put why you think you're going, like the action that you did. Hey, recently I helped this lady that fell. Am I going to heaven? I think so. So just put it there and we'll review it with a pastor so we can repent you. All right, Chef Maurice, love you. Take care, man. Peace out.